Kevin Stefanski has been allowed to get away with racially discriminating openly in a very disgusting manner against Shedeur Sanders that includes abuse. And for him to hand the headset off over is not enough. He's created a toxic culture, which appears to be rife with intimidation and retaliation in an attempt to isolate this young man publicly so they can abuse him in plain sight. We already heard from one Cleveland Browns player saying he was ignored by his coach. There needs to be an investigation immediately. And Haslam, somebody else better take over and fire Kevin Stefanski immediately. Because if he the head coach and Shedeur go out there and get sacked like that, there's going to be hell to pay. When I say this is a pre-FUBAR warning, that's what this is. The voices are loud on the internet about Kevin Stefanski and his disgust towards Shedeur, unjustified. And I don't care about people out here trying to figure out if it's because he's friends with Dan Lanning. I told you, they could be married. I don't give them. That ain't got nothing to do with dehumanizing Shedeur Sanders. Nothing. And it's going on for far too long. And Huntington Bank and Bud Light need to divest from the Cleveland Browns. This is unethical. If you think the NFL and ESPN need to divest from a betting app, then I promise you, Huntington Bank and Bud Light need to divest from this unethical, in-your-face, blatant, dismissive, dehumanizing, racial discrimination as a violation of Shedeur Sanders' civil rights by one Kevin Stefanski. And he's forced to go to a workplace that's toxic every day. The EEOC ought to be standing on the doorstep of the Browns practice. The minions that the Browns have on social media are not enough to close our eyes to this young man's discrimination. And if you think Black people don't stick together, that's your damn problem. Huntington Bank and Bud Light needs to divest from the Cleveland Browns behind the unethical treatment and the racial discrimination against Shedeur Sanders by Kevin Stefanski immediately.
And knowing Shedeur as well as you got to know him, do you feel like, he'll kind of be able to overcome or bounce back the adversity of what happened this draft weekend and kind of get his head back on and march forward?
I think all of our guys, I think every player, when they come into the draft, knows what number they were picked or if they were unpicked, and you can use that as motivation. We don't care once they walk in the doors. Don't care, first-round pick, seventh-round pick, undrafted. Once you're here and you're on our football team, you're a part of this culture, you're a part of this family.
Now, do they treat Shedeur like he's part of their family? And when he says you're a part of this culture, a toxic culture? Mary Cabot started off by saying how well you know Shedeur. Do you know how much of a betrayal it is? The fact that Kevin Stefanski told this young man, guy works and moves in mysterious ways after he was drafted 144. And then to include him in a contest as if it truly did matter where he was drafted, but to ignore the results that he won every time. To dismiss him, to ignore him. To make him try to feel and believe that he's less than and isn't worthy enough to hold the position, the most important position on the team of quarterback. This is betrayal in your face. And it has to have hurt Shedeur to be treated the way he was in the draft. And as Mary Cabot said, to try to bounce back from that discrimination, even though she called it adversity, it's discrimination. And then to come over and to think you're amongst people that respect you as a human being, only to be dehumanized, to be sanctioned just for breathing, exhaling, inhaling, because they truly don't like the color of your skin, because they've never had a first round Black franchise QB and they don't want one, because they would rather lose in 2024 and in 2025 than to have a Black franchise QB lead this team long term. And it should be investigated. If in the same manner Shedeur Sanders was set up to fail in that Rams preseason game, if Deshaun Watson was set up to be injured so an insurance company could pay his $46 million salary instead of the Browns. And is that why Kevin Stefanski turned his headset over? Because his job was done. Because not 48 hours ago, or maybe Friday of last week, Haslam said that Stefanski has done a good job for us. Stefanski has a sub 500 record, is a horrible coach. Other coaches are calling him out. He should have never been coach of the year. So what is he good at exactly, other than from where I sit? Is he potentially good at being blatantly racist, something most people are not willing to be without a goddamn sheet over their head? So is that the good work that he does? Puts Deshaun Watson in harmful situations, puts Shedeur Sanders in harmful situations to disrupt and destroy their careers, because it damn sure ain't winning on the field. It's damn sure not good decision with personnel. It's damn sure not being good and transparent as a leader of a franchise. He is good at creating a toxic environment, because you can see it from here. This is a civil rights violation. I said CPS, which is Children's Protective Services, but goddamn it, Adult Protective Services. I don't think it's a coincidence the NFL Players Association is on the back of a damn milk carton right now. Rendered ineffective, so they can't come to the aid of Shedeur Sanders, which is what their job is. Browns fans need to turn the TV off. As long as Kevin Stefanski has a job. That's the only thing they're going to understand. They don't even care if you show up in person or not. Turn the TV off. That's what they care about. The $400 million check for TV rights, revenue, streaming, etc. Turn the TV off. This is unethical. Too many people like to say, why should I be responsible for racism that happened when I wasn't alive? Well, you watching it happen right before your eyes on one of the biggest platforms in the world, the NFL, when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, starting with the pre-draft process, the draft itself, and now in Cleveland. And why would nobody do anything about it? The sponsors ought to be the first ones, including Nike, Shedeur Sanders sponsors. So I'm going to play this one more time, and you're going to hear how familiar they are with Shedeur. Notice you haven't seen Andrew Berry, nor have you seen their new Black limited partner. Their melanin is just used so you won't think they're racist.
And knowing Shedeur as well as you got to know him, do you feel like, he'll kind of be able...
Knowing Shedeur as well as you've gotten to know him, which means they know him because they pre-draft with him extensively, and the Browns need to be forced to explain why it is you were going to draft him at number 2 overall for over $40 million and why it is you act like he doesn't have elite QB1 skill set. Explain that. Explain it. Because there's no way 2 weeks before the draft, he lost his elite QB1 skill set. And when we saw it again at rookie minicamp, when we saw it again at mandatory camp, when we saw it again at training camp, when we saw it again for the Panthers game, why do the Browns pretend like they are not familiar with Shedeur Sanders' promising elite QB1 franchise quarterback skill set? That is fraud. I will say it again. Everything happening with Shedeur and the Browns organization is unethical, a violation of his civil rights, and Bud Light, goddammit, and Huntington Bank need to be the first to divest. Then that goddamn grocery store over there, as well as the people that do lawn service. The Brown sponsors need to divest immediately. This is highly unethical. And we're going to put an undrafted free agent in front of you, and we even willing to lose just so long as you